Hey credit warriors, Credit Shifu here, and in this video today we are going to be looking at 10 things you should never do with a credit card. Now we did do a similar video a while back, 6 things you should never do with a credit card. So this is an updated list with more information on those things plus a few extra things. So let's go. Number 1, never miss a payment. Okay, so normally we would say pay your credit card off in full every month so that you can avoid paying interest. And that is the best practice, but sometimes certain unforeseeable things happen and people just spend a large amount of money on a credit card and then they pay it off over a period of a few months paying interest. Now that's not ideal, but it does happen. Unexpected medical bill, or your car breaks down, you got to change all the tires, the brake pads, something like that. Unexpected bills, it does happen. However, you should always pay your minimum payment, all right? Now, why is that? Well, we'll tell you that in just a minute. But first of all, what is the minimum payment? Let's use the Chase Freedom Card's terms and conditions as an example, since it's a very common card. The minimum payment is worked out like this. We will calculate the minimum payment as the larger of 1, $35, or the total amount you owe if less than $35, or 2, the sum of 1% of the new balance, the periodic interest charges and late fees we have billed you on the statement for which the minimum payment is calculated. So basically, your minimum payment would be $35 unless you have a balance of over $3,500 or you've accumulated late fees, interest, etc. Okay? So it really isn't that painful on your wallet to meet the minimum payment under most circumstances. So what can happen if you don't meet the minimum payment? Well, on the Chase Freedom, you would be hit with a $39 late payment fee, and if your payment was more than 30 days late, the credit card company will report that as late to the credit bureaus, and it'll appear as a missed payment on your credit report, and that will stay there on your report for 7 years. So yeah, always meet the minimum payment. Let's move on. Number 2, never allow a charge-off. Now, a charge-off on a credit card occurs after 180 days worth of missed payments, which in itself, all those missed payments will already tank your credit score. But then after 180 days, the bank will probably go and close your credit card account and they'll sell that debt to a debt collection agency, and this is called a charge-off. And this will also stay on your credit report for 7 years, and then you'll get collection agencies contacting you and also collections appearing on your credit report. The only way to get rid of a charge-off is to go through the original lender, okay, the original credit card company, and you most probably will have to pay the debt in full for them to agree to wipe that off your report. But if they've already sold the debt to a third-party debt collection agency, they might not be able to help you, or they just might not be willing to help you. Having a charge-off will not only harm your relationship with that particular lender, you'll be blacklisted by them, but also it's going to appear on your credit report, so it's going to harm your chances of getting approved for other credit cards, personal loans, mortgages, other products, or getting the good interest rates on those products, because it's going to tank your score. Now, charge-offs can happen by accident. For example, an account that you forgot you had and you don't use anymore, but a little bit of money was on it and you haven't been paying it off each month, and it goes on for 6 months, and yeah, well, hey, charge-off. Now, this happened to me with my TD bank account. I actually forgot about it, let it go overdrawn. 6 months later, I get a letter saying that I'm getting a charge-off and they're selling my my debt, and then a few months after that, a debt collection agency starts contacting me. Now, I didn't know much about this whole thing at that time, so I just, I thought that maybe the police could seize my property or something, which they can't. But, I was new to the country, so I didn't know the laws. So actually, I just paid the collection, which is about $200 or so. Now, lucky for me, this happened before I had a US Social Security number. So actually, this charge-off and collection does not appear on my current credit report. Well, it's more than 7 years now, but in the past, it didn't appear on my credit report at all. So I was very lucky. Okay, move on to the next section. Number 3, never take a cash advance. Now, you may want some cash for, various things, but it's never a good idea to take cash out of an ATM with a credit card, okay? We'll explain why in just a second. So, if you want cash, I recommend just using your debit card, get your own money out of the ATM. And if you don't have any money, borrow some money from your mom or from your grandma. Now, the reason credit card companies don't like cash advances is because they don't know where the cash is going, where that money is going, and if you have the ability to pay it back. Like, is it going to a crack dealer, for example? So they'll charge you a higher interest rate for that cash advance. Look at the Chase Freedom's terms and conditions again. 24.99% for cash advances, which is higher than the regular interest rate. But there's more. We begin charging interest on balance transfers and cash advances on the transaction date. So you don't get a grace period with cash advances. They start charging interest the moment you make the transaction. On top of that, there's a cash advance fee of either $10 or 5% of the transaction, whichever is greater. And if you do it overseas, you'll get hit with a 3% foreign transaction fee And if it's an out-of-network ATM, the ATM will also charge a fee on top of that as well. So cash advances really are a big no-no for me. On to the next one. Number 4, never max it out. Now this one, a lot of people will know, but let's talk about it anyway. It's recommended that you should only use 30% or less of your available credit, both on individual cards and with your whole credit account overall. Now, once you get to 50% utilization, your score will drop significantly. And if you max it out, let's say you're over 90% utilization, really close to the limit, that's gonna have a big impact on you. Your score will drop. And it also could trigger a financial review depending on your bank. So if you find yourself with high credit utilization, there are 4 things that you can do. Number 1, spend less. Number 2, ask for a credit limit increase on 1 or more cards. Number 3, open a new credit card account and put some of your spending on that instead. Number 4, you also pay back your card before the statement closes to stop it reporting those high balances to the credit bureaus. Number 5, never add an authorized user that you don't totally trust. Adding an authorized user means adding someone to your account who will then be given a physical credit card that they can use to make purchases on your account, okay? Those purchases will show up on your credit card bill. Now, it has some advantages because it helps that person build their credit, and also they can get some of the benefits of the card, depending on the card, like extended warranty or lounge access or whatever it provides. Now, parents often do this for their kids, for example, to help them build up their credit scores in preparation for, graduating from college and getting a job and renting an apartment, etc. But you can actually do this for anyone. On most cards, it doesn't necessarily have to be a family member, although some it does, but most of them it doesn't. And you can work out between you, what the arrangement is going to be with regards to paying the money back. But the crucial thing here is that when you apply for the authorized user card, you have to sign something that says that you are legally responsible for the charges on the card. So if they go AWOL and spend loads of money with your card, technically it's not fraud because you've already okayed them to use your card. But you would be the one who's going to have to pay it back. There's no way you can sue them in court for that money because you've signed a thing saying that you are liable for their charges. And if the charges go on unpaid, it's going to hurt your credit score and theirs. So, it's a really important thing. Don't add an authorized user that you don't totally trust. Number 6, never forget travel notifications. Now, a travel notification is when you tell the credit card company that you'll be going overseas so that they don't automatically block your credit card the first time they detect it being used in a foreign country, okay, which has happened a lot. I remember in the past, I would be literally sitting on the airplane like this with my phone, waiting for the plane to take off and kind of racing against time before they tell us to turn off the cell phones, on hold with the bank. But actually nowadays, a lot of the time you can do it online. And then there's also American Express, which doesn't require travel notifications in most cases. Their fraud detection is really good. With American Express, you may sometimes encounter, if you try to make a big purchase overseas, they'll send you an email just to check that it is you. It happened to me when I wanted to spend $800 on a new iPhone in Taiwan because my phone broke while I was away. And they swiped my Amex Gold card the first time and it didn't go through, but then I had a look at the email in the store and yeah, they'd indeed sent me an email and with a button to push to confirm that it was me. As soon as I pushed that button, we swiped it again and it went through. So the important takeaway from this is just to know your card's travel notification policy. Maybe like with Amex, you don't have to tell them, but certain large purchases will require you to okay it through your email. And then with other cards, they may be more strict and you may actually have to either phone them or use an online system to tell them which countries you're going to and your dates so that they will not block your card. Number 7. Never use a credit card to finance purchases that you could potentially get a lower interest rate on. Now, this really refers to using credit cards that you already have, okay? I'm not talking about brand new cards, because some of those do offer an intro 0% APR, but cards that you already have to buy expensive items where you know that you're going to end up having to pay interest. Like for example, let's say I was going to buy this new MacBook Pro for $2,799 on a credit card, and I was just all trigger happy and made the purchase and was ready to pay the 24% APR for however long it took me to pay it off. Well, if I just bothered to look down here, oh, what is this? Get 3% daily cash with Apple Card or get special financing. So it's the special financing that we are interested in. This card is from Barclays. It offers 0% interest on Apple products over $1,000 for 18 months. And that's as long as you make the purchase within 30 days of account opening. Other stores definitely have similar offers, okay? So have a look at Raymore and Flanagan, this furniture store, and you can see it right on the homepage, 0% financing for 36 months. You would have to be an idiot just to walk in there with a credit card and, you know, just buy a load of stuff without a solid plan to pay it back, okay? Obviously, if you have the money to pay it all back at once, then go for it. But if you know you can't, don't put it on a credit card at like over 20% APR. You know, finance it. Take out that Barclays card that gives you 0% for 18 months, or you can explore other options as well, like the Raymore and Flanagan financing that gives you 36 months. You're never gonna find an intro APR period of 36 months on any credit card. It's normally about 21 months would probably be the maximum. Number 8, never make purchases that incur transaction fees. While most stores do not charge extra for using a credit card, there are some types of businesses that do. For example, certain utility companies may charge a 3% fee for using a credit card. Some healthcare providers also add a credit card charge too. And there's really no point for using a credit card if you're going to get charged a fee, because it's just going to wipe out all of the rewards that you're going to earn through that spending. Now, there is one exception to this, and that is if you need to do the spending to meet minimum spend and you're struggling to get to whatever target it is, say 5,000 in 3 months or whatever. You may want to pay your utilities with it and you know, have a 3% fee just to get yourself up to that level, and then you get like 50,000 points or 60,000 points or something, so it really outweighs that small fee that you have to pay. Number 9, never use a credit card while applying for a mortgage. Now, a mortgage application is the most in-depth financial review most people will go through in their whole lifetime, and using a credit card during the period while you're applying for a mortgage and letting it report to the credit bureaus can affect your debt to income ratio, which affects how much house you can afford. Now, you may be able to get around this by providing credit card statements from like 3 months or whatever, showing that it is paid off in full every month, not accumulating debt. But for me, this was just too much hassle, so while I was applying for a mortgage, I actually just stuck with my debit card. Another strategy could be use a credit card, but always pay it off before the end of the statement so that it doesn't report to the credit bureaus. Number 10, never use a credit card to pay other loans. Now, this should be obvious, but we have to talk about it and the reasons behind it. So to pay off other loans with a credit card, you'll probably need a cash advance, which obviously, like we said, starts incurring interest from the moment you make that cash advance, and there is a fee for it. Then you use that to go off and pay other debt, but that debt may be at a lower interest rate than your credit card anyway, so it would make more sense to pay off your credit card first and then tackle that debt. But you know, the best way to get out of debt is to go for some of the tried and tested methods and not just replace one debt with another debt. So for example, making a budget, cutting down on unnecessary expense, and also shifting credit card debt onto a balance transfer card where you pay 0% APR for a certain number of months. All those things can help you pay off your debt faster. So guys, what do you think? Which one of these is the worst thing that you could possibly do with a credit card? Please leave your answers below, or maybe there are other things that I haven't thought of. Could be a part 3 of this video. All right guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're new. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.